Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on February the 6th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. In terms of the data that's coming up here, we have retail sales numbers as well as trade balance from Australia. So with the trade balance numbers here, these are very important because with the trade wars and so forth going on, if the trade balance numbers drop, that would be negative for the Australian dollar. But if they come in above expectations or in line with expectations, that would be good for Australian dollar and we could see it go up. And then coming up on Thursday here, we have ECB President Lagarde speaking once again, and then we have economic forecast from the Eurozone. Now, if these forecasts are not good, we are likely to see euro drop. Euro has already been under pressure, and if there are concerns about the economy, we could see a further drop there. So just be mindful of that. And then we have RBA Governor Lau speaking, as well as the monetary policy statement here. So this one we have already seen what they said earlier in the week. The data kind of comes in piecemeal here. So overall, this was a little bit more on the positive side, so not really expecting much of difference here in the Australian dollar. It's still holding its own. And then we have New Zealand dollar inflation expectations. These are this is one of the data points that central bank tracks. So if this one is below the previous one, that would be a reason for concern. And we could see New Zealand dollar drop. Same thing here with China. If the trade balance number is below this here, especially with the coronavirus issues and all of that, if this number drops here, it will be negative for Australian dollar as well as New Zealand dollar here. So keep an eye on that. So that's it for Thursday. Let's go on to the charts here. We'll start with euro dollar. Yesterday we were looking for a drop. Prices into the support level here. Now it is into support, so just be mindful of that. We do have a nice bearish candle close here, so bias is bearish and looking for a further move to the downside. Now do keep in mind, this is where price has turned several times before, and it could turn once again, so it's a major support area. Now, I will look for a pullback potentially into 1.1020, and then I am looking for a drop here. The next target is a 1.0950, and then below that we have 1.0920 back into the support level. But like I said, this is a major support. If price does not hold below 1.0990, we could see price go back up again. So just watch out for this area here, but overall bias is bearish for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one has held below this previous support resistance level. At this point, we see that price is holding below the midpoint of the range. It's still in that range. It hasn't broken through the support yet, but it is looking bearish here. And the next target here is 1.2900. And below that, we are looking at 1.2820. So bias is bearish for pound dollar. Looking at Aussie here, we see that price is into resistance here. And we have seen a drop from the high here. At this point, I would look for, we're getting the pullback again. Now we could get a pullback all the way into 0.6780 and then a drop here, but this is not looking very strongly bullish at this point. So I would look for a drop here. So my bias here is bearish for Aussie dollar, and I'm looking for a move back towards 0.6720. And below that, looking for it to go all the way back into 0.6680. So bias here is bearish for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, this one is also looking bearish. We have had a nice bearish candle close for the day. Next target here is back into the bottom of this range that price has been trading in for a while here. 0.6450 is the first target, and then below that we have a 0.6400. So that's the second target. So bearish bias here for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here, this one is into resistance, and price has not been able to break this resistance 3 days in a row now. So we still have a neutral candle close for this, and chances are the longer it stays below this resistance, the higher the chances that it will drop. So watch out for this type of a move, and then finally it could break to the downside and drop. So at this point, my bias is neutral, but once it rejects the 1.33, I will look for a move towards 1.3260 and potentially into 1.3240. So bias is neutral for dollar CAD. Silver here, silver is looking neutral. It's at an interesting point here. It's into resistance, but then it's also into support here. So we have a neutral bias for this one. Now, if it closes above this high from today, I will look for it to go all the way up. If it drops through the support, then this one could go lower into 17.31 and then into 17.15. So for now, bias is neutral. We just need to see which direction this breaks out, and we'll have to trade accordingly. So neutral bias for silver at the moment. Gold here, gold is also looking neutral. We did see price try to go up. It is into resistance, but then it's also into support. And so it's at a neutral point. And same thing here, if it breaks through the top of this pin here, I will look for a further move into 1580. But if it drops through the bottom here, then we are looking at 1534. So at this point, the bias is neutral for gold. Oil here, so oil has finally turned. We see a nice bullish candle close, so this one could go further. Now, of course, it is into this support turning into resistance, so watch out for that, but it is bullish, and once it gets through that, we could see it go all the way into 53.50. So bias is bullish for oil. Copper here, copper is into resistance. So at this point, this is an important support resistance level. So if it breaks through this level, only then would I look for it to go higher. And the next target would be 2.60. But if it fails to break through this, then we could see it come back all the way. This inefficient move here could get filled. So watch out for that. This is 2.56 here is an important support resistance level. So if it stays below, I will look for a drop. It does have some bullish momentum in it, so it could carry this up. And we've had a huge drop here, so it could go all the way into 2.60. So overall, bullish bias, and important level will be 2.56. Bitcoin here, Bitcoin has pushed higher. It held above this 90.50 level. So this is looking bullish at this point. Next target here is 9900. And then above that, we are into 10,300. So for now, bias is bullish for Bitcoin. All right, equity markets at all-time highs. So S&P 500 is all the way into all-time highs. And at this point, it is holding above. So momentum has been bullish over the last little while for S&P 500. And at this point, if that continues, we could see it go further. So bullish bias at this point, but because it's had this 3 days of sharp move to the upside, do watch out for those pullbacks as well, because after the big move in any direction, we do get pullbacks. So that would be something to be cautious about. But the next target here, if it holds above this 33.30 level, then we're looking at 33.80. So bias is bullish and 33.80 is the target. Just keep an eye on 33.30 level here. Nasdaq here, this one is looking neutral. We are into, again, all-time highs, but the candle here is not as strong. So what I would look for is if it holds above 9,300, it could continue on, and we could see further move towards 95.50 level here. On the other hand, though, if it goes to test the high here, but fails to break, then chances are very high that this will drop. So at this point, the bias is neutral for Nasdaq. Dow Jones here looking bullish, but we have had a strong move here. And like I said, these moves can get reversed. So right now it is into resistance at 29,400. So if it manages to get through, then looking for it to go all the way into 30,000 here, it could make that move. But if it doesn't break that, then it's highly likely that it will come back 29,000 and 28,780 will be the targets. And then we have DAX here looking quite bullish here as well. So bullish bias here, 13,620 will be the target. But then same thing here, we could see a drop from here, maybe not that big, but we could see a reaction at the high and we could see price come down. So keep an eye at these highs, but bullish bias here for DAX. And then we have Footsie. This is also looking bullish, but now we could see it go into resistance. So target here would be 76.80, and then we are into strong resistance, and this is where price could turn. So keep an eye on that. So for now, bias is bullish for Footsie. And last but not least, we have Nikkei here. This one is looking bullish as well. Next target is 23,900. But with this one here as well, we have had sharp move to the upside. And a lot of times these moves can get reversed. So right now it is bullish, and I would look for move into 23,900, and if it doesn't go through, this one is likely to drop. So bullish bias at the moment. So that's it for today. Have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.